Well, well, well. What can we say about this Milan that hasn't already been said about Afghanistan? It looks bombed out and depleted. Actually, it looks like a Milan who has no confidence, no idea, no heart, no pride, no passion, and you know what else? No points. A collective no-show for most of the game, with the exception of about 2 minutes. This Milan went back in time to a place where they were worse than they ever were before Conceição showed up. This Milan gives you the tiniest bit of hope, and before you could even know what to do with it, they rip it away. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's me, Fabio, from the Milan Weekly Podcast channel. I host a weekly show with my partner, Gio, called Milan Coast to Coast. I'm the special guest host this week for Kush. If you want to follow Kush, please make sure you subscribe to his Instagram so you can stay up to date with all of Kush's feelings while he's away for this next month. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's start with the good. And the good of this game is Rafael Leao. Now, Leao, in a minute of basically a lackluster first half, turns the game around right before halftime, scoring a beautiful goal where he's one-on-one with the keeper, beats Di Silvestri off a weird assist from Santi Jimenez. I don't know how much he even knows about it, from a long ball kick from Mike. Has it kind of ricochet off his back over Di Silvestri. Leao smartly beats him, gets around the goalkeeper, puts it into an empty net. Again, not much else to speak of in regards of good. Without Leao, this team is in a far worse position. That's why we got to remember Leao is still extremely valuable to this club, but the rest of the team was in shambles today. All right, my bad is, I feel harsh to kind of say it, because the kid had a couple of good chances, but why is he the one at the end? That's what I said. I'm sorry if to pile on, but Yunus Musah, man, ever since you came to the club, I've been a supporter of you. But this year has been a major regression. I don't even know how much you really did well last year, but this year has been a major regression. Every time you get the ball in the final third, you do not know what to do with it. You don't. Today, you had 2 great opportunities. The second one, even worse, because you start doing a little shimmy back and forth. I don't know what you're thinking. You should have passed the ball. Isn't that what you did last time? You're in the box. You're right there. You can easily shoot, but you try to cut back. This one, Leao is wide open in the box. Instead, you try to boogie dance him, and you at least get the shot off. I'll give you that. At least you got the shot off, but you got it saved. I mean, but other than that, you have been frustrating. Like, I'm sure people are going to defend you and say, oh, of all the players. But no, guys, when you get these opportunities, right, when they fall to Musah, he doesn't capitalize. Go back and tell me the last time this guy put in a good cross, that he's constantly running on the right side. Every time he gets a good ball, progresses up the field, there's always a at the end. I'm sorry to say it, sorry to be so harsh, but Musah, your shot selection, just not finishing the play, you have a great chance, you make a terrible pass within like the first 30 seconds of the game. A better pass to Santi maybe sets him up a little better. Nah, man, it's just not good enough, and it's not good enough for the quality of Milan. All right, now the ugly. Jesus Christ. Excuse my language, Kush. You know how badly I want to scream and yell and curse all these guys out, because they don't show up with heart. Today, the ugly, besides the entire team making me make ugly faces at work all day, this whole defense stinks. They stink. Kush, I didn't curse. You can leave it in. Listen, I'm sorry, guys. With Theo Hernandez starting the first damn goal, if he doesn't get that yellow and doesn't foul and put them in a perfect position, right as the second half starts, this defense has more cracks than an iceberg in Antarctica right now. All right? These people are ridiculous. Theo commits a foul, sets us up to already get screwed. Let's just be honest. Let's be honest about the entire defense today. They were no good. This is not Roba de Milan, all right? These guys are not up to the caliber. I love Pavlovic, but one of the worst performances by this guy. And yet again, at some point, he ends up in the box trying to shoot when we need a goal. Not where we need you, Pavlovic. Where we need you is actually doing something in the box on our defensive side, which you didn't. You didn't look great on the first one. You lose your marker there, and actually, you're the guy, it's your player who gets the first header before it ricochets off somebody and then they score, right? Then the second goal, he decided he wanted to play twister with the guy instead of marking him and getting that ball out. Instead, he wanted to hold him around the waist. Hey, yo, pause, no diddy. And next thing you know, they're up 2-1. Pavlovic was terrible, and possibly just as bad was Malik Chow. This guy is not vibranium. Vibranium don't have cracks like this, all right? Tinfoil does. You ever try to heat your pizza up with some tinfoil? Right? That's all you can do. Malik Chow ain't helping nobody right now. Nobody. And Alex Jimenez, I'm sorry, bro. You had a terrible game. And you had a lot of offensive moments that you could have looked good. But you didn't. All right? The whole defense in general. This is looking a lot Fonseca-esque. We cannot keep people out. Bologna looked like a team that could not be stopped. They should have scored probably 3 or 4 more goals because we are just weak defensively. I don't understand what is wrong with this Milan. Wasn't Conceição a defensive coach? I thought he was going to come in and we were going to be better defensively, but we're not. We're not. Not even by a long shot. And one more ugly. I blame everybody now. Not just Ibra with his little GQ cover. Oh, thank you, Ibra. Thank you. That's what we really need right now. You looking like a Bond villain or somebody from Harry Potter or something up there on the GQ. Exactly what we need, bro. Where is Moncada? Right? Oh, he wants to be the sporting director. What is he talking about? Furlani? Nowhere to be seen. The only time I see this guy is next to a model when they're doing photo shoots, smiling like he just found the prize in a Cracker Jack box. And the rest of the team. Conceição, what are you doing with these guys? I don't want to always blame the coach because Pioli, Fonseca, now Conceição. It's always the same thing with these guys. But where is the tactics, bro? You don't like tactics? It's very simple. One goal you score on, the other one you defend. Well, guess what? You're not scoring very much. And then defending, you guys stink at that too. So, Listen, I get you came here and you need to change the temperament of some of these players. I get that. There's a lot of malcontents, people who never got over Maldini leaving, and maybe they think they're better than they actually are. But you should be able, as a good coach, to lift these players up. And all I see is we are stagnant out there. We have no ideas, right? You want to play a certain way? What do we know about this particular way that he wants to play in Italy? I've said this repeatedly. Italian coaches are the bread and butter of the Italian league, okay? And I'm sorry, Conceição might have been great at Porto. He might have been great other places. He might be a great coach. But in Italy, with this group of players, they are not turning anything around. And to be thinking about it, again, this Milan has given us so much false hope. And if you're a fool, like I am, which I am, no denying, you will get caught up in the BS that this Milan keeps giving us, okay? This summer, they bought a bunch of players, which 3 of them, they need to immediately change course on them after 6 months. Failure there. You picked a coach who had problems with Leao and Theo, seemed to get the whole team kind of against him. So you got rid of him. Now you bring in this other guy who's more of a hard head. And this guy wants things a certain way. And immediately he gets results. Gives us false hope. Gives us an idea. We're going to raise our caliber of the Milan this year. But instead, what we got was exactly what we've gotten the whole year. You have these little moments of a Milan who shows up and shows the capability This is what differentiates us from the Banta era, is that we have players that are capable. We have expectations, which we didn't have back then. And when you have expectations, you have giant cliffs you can walk off. And every couple of months they remind you that this Milan is not of the caliber of the Inters and the Real Madrids and the other teams that are on clearly another plane. We are still at the bottom. We had a moment of going up, but this management, this ownership decided to clip everything at the heels because maybe something was hanging a little too long in the middle. Hey, yo. Now management, course correcting in January, brings in a new coach, wins the Super Cup. They're giving inspirational speeches. Woo! Oh, man, I can't wait. Thank you, Ibra, for talking. But what happens after? Do we look good against any other team? Do we look good against any other team? No. And then Milan proceeds to give us another moment of false hope. They go and make more signings than they've made in years. Spend money on Santi Jimenez to bring him in from Feyenoord. They spend the 35 million, whatever it is. They go get João Felix. They sign Kyle Walker. We make other moves. Bondo, who knows if he even exists at this point. We move guys out. Benacer's gone. Calabria's gone. Okay. But what happens next? We proceed to tie and lose and barely win, and then tie and then lose, and then get knocked out of the Champions League, get embarrassed. When I look at it, it's my fault for believing in this Milan. Believing that I'm actually going to get something different than what I've gotten the whole year. This season, this team is full of disappointments. They're all disappointments at the moment. Even if an individual player has had a great performance or a great season so far, what is the collective? What is the collective, my friends? Because in the end, that's all that matters. You might have the most goals you've ever scored in your career. But guess what? I don't care. I don't care because all those goals you scored did not help us get 3 more points week in, week out. It didn't raise the level of the rest of your team when they all look shell-shocked when they play a Bologna that comes out with more heart and more fight than them. So I look at this Milan and I say, you know what? You have been what you advertised. Bipolar. I have been out there thinking you're going to change. But you're never going to change. Because you broke up a happy home. You came in and you broke up a happy home. A happy home that was on the up. You decided you could do better. You people in the background all thought you could be the man. And like a great man once said, you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. Well, I guess when it's time to be the man, you see how difficult it can be. This Milan proved me wrong. Because the only time you ever do something is when I lose faith in you. And when I give you my faith, you never reward it. So I'm not giving it to you again. It's my fault for continually getting upset at this team and the expectations that I have, but I'm not sure management and the players have for themselves. Alright guys, that's my video. I want to thank you all for watching this week. I want to thank Kush again for letting me do this one. I must have got the 2 worst games that I could have ever hoped to get. But Kush, thank you so much, bro. If you want to follow Kush, make sure you follow him on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. Follow my channel. Follow my channel on Milan Weekly Podcast on Instagram and on YouTube. Everywhere else, man. Guys, it can only get better because I can't envision how it gets worse. But I'm probably wrong. It probably can. And just to keep it Kush style, Forza Milan. Grazie mille. Peace.